Julian had a bad feeling about the ship, even with all the good food and good times he had with the crew. He was a new recruit and only knew Ben from the day he boarded. He saw him as a big brother, but he was afraid of what might be lurking in the ocean below. Julian and Ben would sit on the deck every night, drinking and telling stories. Julian told him about how he missed his family and his kids and how he regretted going on this trip. Ben would listen patiently and then offer a few words of comfort. He told him about his own family and how they were waiting for him to return with a lot of gold and jewelry. Then one day, Ben disappeared, and Julian was left alone. Everyone said he probably fell off the ship while he was drunk, but Julian knew it was something else, and he was determined to get to the bottom of it. The snakes slithered into my clothes and bit me, their sharp fangs sinking into my skin. I couldn't hold back and screamed. Just as I was on the verge of dying from the torment, the stone above my head was moved, and a sliver of light shone through. A familiar voice brought me back to some semblance of consciousness for a few seconds. If Julian hadn't tattled, Makoto wouldn't have been upset for so many days. This is just a little lesson for him. Sophia's voice came from above, sounding lofty and indifferent. Maria added, "The snake venom has already been drained. It won't kill him. At least we've paid our dues for the little bit of friendship we had as children." In the cellar, my lips turned purple, my vision grew increasingly blurred, and I gave a desperate smile. This was the childhood friend I had grown up with, and now I had seen her true nature for the first time. Not long after they left, Makoto arrived. His arrogant voice echoed from above. "Julian, out of the 99 snakes with no venom, I deliberately arranged one with venom. This is your lesson for being ungrateful. Don't worry, if you die, I'll make sure to bury you next to your dead old mother." I didn't have the strength to retort. The venom spread through my body, and I completely lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was already in the hospital. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw Sophia sitting by my side taking care of me. When she saw me wake up, there was a clear sign of relief on her face. "You're awake. The doctor said you were poisoned by the snake, but fortunately, the treatment was timely, and you're fine now." In the past, I always looked at Sophia with a glimmer of hope in my eyes. Now I looked at her with emptiness and indifference and quietly said, "Did they find out who did it?" Sophia froze for a moment and quickly changed the subject. "No. You're usually so high profile. You've probably offended quite a few people. Since you're fine, it's better not to make a big deal out of it." In the past, I would have definitely said, "No, it must be fully investigated." But this time I just nodded calmly and softly said, "All right." For a brief moment, Sophia felt that Julian seemed different, but after a second thought, she reasoned that he had just survived a life-threatening situation, so it was understandable that he wasn't in the best mood. The entire day, Sophia and Maria didn't go anywhere and stayed to take care of me. I knew it was out of guilt until Sophia went out to take a phone call. She rushed back into the room and pulled me out of bed. "Makoto went to kill the snake himself to avenge you, but he got bitten by it, so now he needs a lot of blood. You both have panda blood, go donate." After hearing Sophia's words, I forcefully pulled my arm away from her and said firmly, "I won't donate. The venomous snakes were arranged by him in the first place, so how could he have been poisoned?" At that moment, my father and Maria also arrived, and they both started to pressure me. Father said, "Makoto got hurt because he was trying to save you. You have to donate the blood." Maria also criticized me. "It's just donating some blood. It won't kill you. Can you stop being so dramatic?" The three of them ignored my wishes and forcefully dragged me to the blood donation room. Sophia said expressionlessly, "Doctor, take as much as you need." I stared at them with red eyes and said, "I was also poisoned. If I donate blood to him, I'll be in danger." "Still need to donate," Sophia said decisively. At that moment, I suddenly gave up struggling, let out a cold laugh, and tightly shut my eyes. "Doctor, do it." The doctor sighed, about to proceed, when the door was suddenly kicked open. A group of bodyguards streamed in. Willow, dressed in a black fishtail dress, walked in casually. Standing against the light, in a cold tone, she said, "What a lively scene. First time seeing blood donation being forced like this. Mr. Wong must think the Wong family has had too much peace in recent years and wants to make the headlines." "Ah?" Pablo's face turned pale. Willow shot a glance at the doctor and coldly said, "Want to force a blood draw like this? Looks like you're asking for a prison sentence. The doctor was so frightened that he immediately let go. Willow's father was a powerful figure in City A, and Willow had the final say there with ruthless methods. Sophia clenched her fist, locking eyes with Willow. Miss Liu, the second young master of the Wong family, urgently needs blood. What you're doing? Does the urgent need for blood have anything to do with Julian? If he can't survive without blood, it's just his fate to die. Willow's words were like poison, leaving no mercy for anyone. In the end, I was taken away by Willow. Sophia looked at their backs with a feeling of unease, but when she thought of Makoto, all her thoughts were cast aside. In the hospital room, Willow leaned back in a chair and peeled an orange for herself. She took a bite and smiled. Not bad. It's sweet. You should have some too. Willow directly placed the orange into my hand. When I was young, I loved oranges the most, but before it was always Sophia who peeled them for me, and after that, she only peeled them for Makoto. Thanks for what you did earlier. I just didn't want my fiancé to get forced to death before we even got married. The wife selection banquet in 10 days will have a new name. It'll be called the Alliance Banquet. I agreed immediately. All right. On the day of the Alliance Banquet, as I was heading downstairs, I ran into Sophia and Maria. Maria said, Julian, don't pick Sophia today. Just consider it a personal request from me. Sophia didn't say anything, but her eyes spoke volumes. I stared at both of them, my mind flooded with overlapping memories. When I was young, if I made a mistake, my father would punish me. Back then, they also begged me like this. Now, after all these years, they were still begging. Only this time they were asking me to give up on Sophia once and for all. Thinking back on everything, I found it utterly mocking. I stared at them seriously and said, all right, beg me. You didn't succeed in your last attempt to apologize, so now you can make it up. Let this be their revenge for locking me in the cellar. Without a moment's hesitation, the two of them took off their outer jackets and began slapping each other. Blood slowly soaked through their pure white dresses, a horrific sight to behold. Eventually, their faces turned pale, and Sophia struggled to ask, are you satisfied now? I remained silent. Maria confirmed once more, so you won't pick Sophia at the banquet, right? I straightened my back arrogantly, casting them a sidelong glance as I replied, just wait for the result. This time, I wouldn't make the wrong choice. Neither Sophia nor Maria was worthy. I turned and walked away, disappearing completely from their sight. After getting in the car, I took off the watch and pinned it around my neck. Both had been birthday gifts from them years ago. Now that I no longer wanted anything from them, these trinkets were nothing but trash. I crushed them together and threw them out of the car. At the largest hotel in City A, the original wife selection banquet was changed to the Alliance Banquet. In the audience, guests whispered and mocked me. The Wong family's century-old reputation has been ruined by Julian Wong. It was supposed to be a wife selection banquet, but it turned into an alliance banquet just so Julian could play the simp for Sophia. Just changing the name doesn't work. Everyone knows Sophia's heart belongs to Makoto, the second young master of the Wong family. Julian is really pathetic. He's supposed to be the legitimate heir, yet neither the Kim family nor the Lee family wants him. Sophia Kim and Maria Lee exchanged a glance, both filled with anger, especially Sophia, who said, I should have guessed. He's so in love with me. How could he agree not to pick me? Sophia tried calling me dozens of times, demanding an explanation, but I didn't answer a single one, and she angrily threw her phone on the ground. Just then, the door to the banquet hall suddenly opened. I stepped in, wearing a pure white suit, with the light shining down on me. The simp has arrived. This is going to be good. I bet 10 million Julian will pick Sophia and then be rejected by her. I bet 5 million Julian will settle for Maria instead. The mocking voices from the audience reached my ears. Without missing a beat, Sophia clenched her fists and rushed forward, wanting an explanation. But before she could reach me, the bodyguards rushed in and blocked her. Ma'am, please behave yourself. Sophia was stopped, and her resentment grew even stronger. In front of everyone, she loudly declared, Julian, listen, I, Sophia, love Makoto. I will only marry Makoto in this lifetime. Even if I leave the Kim family, I won't marry you. The audience watched with an expression of amusement. I slightly lifted my eyelids, my eyes cold as ice, as though I could freeze anyone's heart. I gave a disdainful smile, turned, and ascended the steps with grace and poise. I said, I hereby announce that my marriage partner is Willow. One sentence stirred up a storm. Everyone's eyes were on me, trying to figure out what I was playing at this time. Has Julian gone mad? Willow is who she is, and he dares to provoke her. Tisk, if Willow finds out Julian is spreading rumors about her like this, she'll probably just kill him on the spot. The mocking voices from the audience continued. They all thought this was just a trick I was pulling. Sophia was no different. Julian, enough. You're a man. Don't you have any self-respect? Is it fun chasing a woman who doesn't love you? Makoto stood aside, continuing to play his part. Brother, you have everything, but Sophia is all I have. Please don't steal her from me. With just a few words, they surrounded me, pushing me into a corner. The next second, a group of bodyguards burst in, clearing a path in the middle. Except for me, everyone else was cleared out. Willow, with skin as pale as snow, wearing a pure white fishtail dress, stepped forward one step at a time. The crowd was in an uproar. The people who had just mocked me immediately changed their tune. My God, it really is Willow. This woman doesn't even look at anyone else. When did she get involved with Julian? Willow ignored the voices from the audience and walked straight towards me. In front of everyone, Willow spoke slowly, word by word. Julian, will you marry me? I was momentarily stunned. We only had a relationship of mutual use. Willow saying this in front of everyone was a huge favor to me, and I was a bit surprised. I silently admired Willow's professionalism. I will, I said with a slight smile, taking her hand. As I held Willow's hand, we stood together, a perfect match. Sophia's clenched fist looked like she was being eaten alive by 1,000 ants. She charged in, her face twisted with anger. Julian, you can't marry her. Sophia's actions left everyone confused. I looked her in the eye and coldly said, Miss Kim, if I'm not marrying her, should I marry you? Instantly, the atmosphere in the room froze. Everyone knew that Sophia liked Makoto, and now that I was no longer pursuing her, she should be happy about it. Even Sophia herself didn't understand why. But as soon as she heard that Julian was going to marry Willow, she inexplicably felt a wave of panic. Sophia stuttered for a long time, unable to speak. I looked at her with mockery. Decision has been made. Let's go home, I said, tightening my grip on Willow's hand. All right. Willow's words hadn't even finished when Sophia interrupted. The person you should marry is Maria, not Willow. Willow's gaze sharpened slightly, exuding an aura of dominance. I frowned, my voice cold as ice. Sophia, know your place. Who I marry is none of your business. You like Makoto, don't you? I'll make it happen for you. I wish you both a lifetime of happiness. Although everything I said was perfectly reasonable, Sophia still insisted. Julian, you have to marry Maria. You can still change your mind. There's a way back for you. Don't push it too far, or you'll end up begging me to take you back. Sophia had her own selfish motives. She knew Maria didn't like Julian, so if they got married, Julian's feelings for her wouldn't change. But Willow was different. This woman was powerful and strong, yet she was willing to lower herself for Julian. For the first time, Sophia felt fear. She was afraid Julian might actually fall for Willow. Over the years, Sophia had grown accustomed to me trailing behind her. Once I chose her, I shouldn't have changed my mind, even if she didn't love me. Seeing how confident Sophia still was at this point, I couldn't help but mock her. Sophia, don't think too highly of yourself. I've long stopped liking you. If you keep blocking me like this, your crush will think the one you like is actually me. Makoto stood aside, his eyes red as he looked at Sophia. Sophia's heart tightened, caught in a dilemma. I turned to Willow and smiled. Shall we go? Gentlemen, from now on, Willow is my wife. We'll notify you once we've set a date for the wedding. After my dignified announcement, I took Willow's hand and left the venue. Sophia watched helplessly as we walked away, unable to do anything. It wasn't until we left that my father finally regained his composure. He spoke. Since Julian has chosen Miss Liu, then your marriage to Makoto should be settled as well. I had already completely broken free from his control. To take over Wong Corporation, I would need to form an alliance with the Kim family. Sophia remained silent for a moment, and then Makoto stepped forward. Sophia, don't you like me anymore? Sophia snapped out of her trance. How could she not like Makoto? She couldn't. Makoto, don't overthink it. I've always liked you. Let's get engaged today and choose a good day for the wedding. Makoto embraced Sophia and smiled. All right. Nightfall. I sat on the bed in the bedroom, hearing the sound of water running from the bathroom, making my ears flush red. Though we were adults and knew what was supposed to happen at times like this, I still felt a little shy. As time ticked by, I was still trying to gather myself when the water stopped. Willow emerged from the bathroom in a white silk nightgown, water droplets dripping from her hair onto her chest, her figure so subtly visible that I couldn't take my eyes off her. Turning my face crimson, I quickly looked away, feeling extremely uncomfortable. This is your room. I'll go stay in the next one. You're tired today too. Get some rest early. With that, I tried to escape, but Willow stopped me. There was a dangerous aura emanating from her as she looked at me with a teasing gaze. We're married. Where else do you think you're going? If we don't stay together, tired? You haven't done anything, so what's there to be tired about? My face was burning, and I looked at her warily. What do you want to do? What are you thinking? Willow leaned down, her smile both teasing and mysterious. I almost wanted to disappear into the ground, but Willow lazily let go of me. We're married. How would it look if we slept in separate rooms? The nightgown is in the wardrobe. Go get it. I have some business to take care of and need to go to the study. With just a few words, my face returned to its normal color. Willow grabbed her laptop and headed for the study next door, showing no other intentions. Once she left, I let out a small sigh of relief. Thankfully, if we had been alone in the room, I wouldn't have known how to handle it. After finishing my shower, I noticed the clothes Willow had prepared fit me perfectly. I couldn't help but marvel. Looks like our tastes are quite similar. Wong family. After Sophia and Maria dropped Makoto off at home, they were about to leave. Makoto suddenly hugged Sophia from behind. Sophia, my parents aren't home. Could you stay with me tonight? Maria froze for a moment. I have things to do. I'll leave now. Once Maria left, Makoto pulled Sophia back to his room. Makoto went to take a shower, and Sophia, feeling a bit awkward to be alone in the room, was inexplicably drawn to Julian's room next door. As soon as Sophia entered, she noticed the trash bin by the side was filled with items. Among them, a familiar picture caught her attention. Sophia picked up the torn picture from the trash. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her chest. These were the pictures she had given Julian, ones he had once treasured dearly. There was even a time when Makoto wanted to take one and hang it up for a few days, and Julian had been angry about it for quite a while. Now he had torn them all apart and thrown them into the trash. Even though Julian had publicly chosen Willow, Sophia didn't believe he had truly changed his heart. But seeing the torn pictures in the trash, Sophia felt a fear she hadn't felt before. She feared Julian might actually leave her. Sophia kept rummaging through the trash when suddenly a pitiful voice came from behind. Sophia, what are you doing here? Sophia stiffened as Makoto came over and hugged her. The unique scent of his hormones overwhelmed her, but it made Sophia feel nauseous. Sophia, this is my brother's room. He's always disliked anyone touching his things. Let's go back to my room. Makoto pulled Sophia back to his room. In the dimly lit room, Makoto slowly approached Sophia and lifted her waist. Sophia, thank you for choosing me today. It's getting late, so why don't we? As he spoke, Makoto's hand began to wander lower. The air in the room grew heavy with tension, and Sophia's body stiffened. At the critical moment, Sophia grabbed Makoto's wrist and pushed him away forcefully. Makoto's heart skipped a beat, his eyes flashing with a mix of resentment followed by confusion. Sophia, what's wrong? Somehow, every time she looked at Makoto, his image seemed to overlap with Julian's. But she knew Julian was always proud and would never make the first move in this way. Sophia took a deep breath and said in a low voice, Makoto, we're only engaged. It's too soon for this. It's getting late. You should rest. I'll sleep in the guest room next door. With that, Sophia tried to leave, but Makoto suddenly called out, my foot. Sophia turned back quickly, and, seeing Makoto fall to the ground, she rushed over to help him into bed. Makoto took the opportunity to hold her tightly and refused to let go. Sophia, I'm scared of the dark, and my foot is hurt. Can you stay with me tonight? Sophia initially wanted to refuse, but when she saw the pleading look in Makoto's eyes, she couldn't bring herself to say no. All right. Sophia stayed and helped Makoto check his ankle. Suddenly her eyes darkened. Years ago, Makoto had saved her from drowning. Though she had been unconscious at the time, she clearly remembered that the person who saved her had a deep cut on his ankle and bled a lot. Such a large wound couldn't possibly have healed so well. Seeing that Sophia's expression was off, Makoto asked, "Sophia, why are you staring at my foot?" Sophia raised her gaze and asked, "Makoto, where is the wound on your foot?" Makoto looked confused. "A wound? What wound? Why would I have a wound on my leg for no reason?" His words made Sophia's heart sink to the ground. Suddenly, Makoto seemed to realize something and quickly added, "Oh, I remember now. Sophia, you're talking about the scar I got when I saved you back then, right? It wouldn't be good to keep a scar, so I went and had it treated with laser therapy." Although Makoto offered a reasonable explanation, Sophia still harbored doubts. Seeing Sophia frowning, Makoto leaned in and smoothed her brow, his voice tinged with hurt. "Sophia, you seem different. Do you not like me anymore? I was just asking casually. Don't overthink it. It's late now, and I'm here with you. You should rest." Makoto pretended to be upset and lightly hummed, "Then kiss me." In the past, Sophia would have immediately done it without hesitation, giving Makoto the reassurance he needed, but this time, Sophia hesitated. Finally, she leaned in and gave him a light kiss on the forehead, half-heartedly. Only when Makoto was completely asleep did Sophia go to the balcony. The ashtray was heaping with cigarette butts, and the white mist in front of her obscured her features. Sophia dialed Maria's number. Maria usually went to bed early. That night, she couldn't sleep. "So you suspect the person who saved you back then wasn't Makoto?" Maria asked, her voice low. Sophia took a few deep drags of her cigarette and replied softly, "Yes. Now that I think about it, neither you nor I actually saw Makoto save us, did we?" There was a brief silence from Maria's end. Sophia was right. They never actually saw Makoto save them. It was Makoto himself who told them that he had saved them. At the time, they were both puzzled. After all, Julian had never liked Makoto since childhood, so they tried to avoid him as much as possible. But despite that, Makoto saved them without hesitation, which changed their perception of him. Over time, Makoto would often subtly imply that Julian was against him and made things difficult for him, which led Sophia and Maria to think that Julian was purposely targeting him. At first, they tried to help Julian, but as time passed, they no longer needed Makoto's words. Whenever he was wronged, they automatically assumed it was Julian's doing. Listening to Sophia, Maria paused for a moment before replying. "If it wasn't him who saved us, how would he know?" Sophia responded, "Julian always said that Makoto was constantly going against him. But what if it was Julian who saved us, and Makoto took the credit?" Maria took a deep breath at the other end. She hadn't considered that possibility before, but she couldn't completely rule it out. "I'll look into it. Until we have an answer, don't take any rash actions. We don't want to hurt his feelings." Sophia brushed it off. "I know what I'm doing." After hanging up the phone, Sophia glanced at Makoto in the bedroom. His ankle was exposed. The skin was smooth like an egg, and even if he had undergone laser treatment, it wouldn't look so flawless. Once a seed of doubt is planted, it's hard to erase. That night, Sophia didn't sleep. She sat on the balcony, thinking about everything with Julian from the past. In the past, Julian would always chase after her, trying to control her, following her everywhere. Whenever she smoked, Julian would immediately snatch it away and sternly tell her, "Smoking is bad for your health. You're not allowed to smoke." Now, even if she smoked all night, no one would stop her. For several days, Sophia's father had not returned home because of the will left by Julian's grandfather. Julian would officially take over Wong Corporation on the day of his marriage registration. However, Pablo had made quite a few moves within Wong Corporation over the years, so it was difficult to take control of the company all at once. Moreover, Pablo had been staying at the company, discussing strategies with his confidants to maintain control over what wasn't even rightfully his. One day, Makoto had booked a wedding dress shop and called Sophia multiple times, but she didn't answer. So Makoto's calls ended up going through to Sophia's father. When Mr. Kim saw Sophia in a lethargic state downstairs, he was enraged. "Makoto's calls are coming to me now. What's wrong with you? A young woman smoking so much. You should have smoked yourself to death." Sophia had deliberately turned off her phone, but didn't expect Makoto's call to reach her father. "Don't bother with him," Sophia said irritably. In just a few short days, Sophia had gone from a glamorous socialite to a woman with a pale complexion. Mr. Kim, frustrated, said, "You were the one who wanted to marry him. Now you've gotten your wish, so why are you throwing a tantrum?" Before, when she had been indifferent to Julian and pursued Makoto, Mr. Kim had been indifferent to her as well. Now that she wasn't paying attention to Makoto, Mr. Kim seemed to find fault in her every move. "You didn't like the idea of Makoto becoming your son-in-law. Isn't my doing this exactly what you wanted?" Sophia casually replied with a hint of disdain. Mr. Kim couldn't contain himself, and he grabbed the ashtray from the table and threw it at Sophia, but Sophia gently tilted her neck, dodging it. "You're getting old, calm down. It's bad for your health to be so angry. You might get a stroke." Sophia's mother came downstairs and overheard the commotion. She shot Sophia an angry glance. "Sophia, what are you doing now? You wanted to marry Makoto, and we've made it happen. Now everyone knows you're marrying the second young master of the Wong family. Why are you locking yourself up at home? Are you trying to make things worse? Or do you think your father and I still have too many years left to live?" Sophia pursed her lips and remained silent. She wasn't sure what was wrong with her either. Despite the fact that the matter hadn't been resolved, she really didn't feel like seeing Makoto. But her parents didn't give her a chance to refuse. They directly said, "Makoto has already chosen the bridal shop. You two are going today to pick the dresses. The wedding will be held this month, at the end of the month. I don't care what you're thinking right now. The wedding will take place as planned. If you change your mind again, I'll have your father and I die right here in front of you." With that, Sophia's mother supported her husband and went back upstairs. At the bridal shop, I had already tried several dresses but wasn't satisfied with any of them. The saleswoman asked, "Mr. Wong, what kind of style do you like? Or if you tell me your preferences, I can pick out a few options for you to choose from." Honestly, I didn't know what I liked. I just felt that the dresses I tried on earlier weren't quite right. Willow had been sitting on the sofa nearby, and every time she would carefully offer her opinion. "Pick a few dresses that are elegant yet still have some design," Willow said calmly. I was slightly surprised and looked at Willow, shocked that she seemed to understand my needs even better than I did. The saleswoman gave a faint smile and said, "With Mr. Wong, usually it's the women who come to try on wedding dresses, and the men are more of an accessory. Out of all the couples I've seen, only Miss Liu has been so serious in choosing dresses for you. I can tell that Miss Liu really likes you." I was stunned for a few seconds, and the saleswoman's words echoed in my head. Miss Liu really likes you. Did Willow like me? It wasn't likely. Willow and I had never gotten along, especially that time when I almost drowned and Willow didn't help. Let alone like. I even suspected that Willow might dislike me. Throughout my life, whenever I made a fool of myself, Willow was always there haunting me. If it weren't for the fact that I wanted to reclaim Wong Corporation, I wouldn't have chosen Willow. But deep down, another voice started to argue within me. If Willow didn't have any feelings for me, why would she have saved me during the blood donation incident? Even though the Wong family is a top-tier aristocracy, the company had been slowly declining under my father's management over the years. If Willow was really seeking a marriage alliance, I wasn't the best option. Two conflicting thoughts raged in my mind, making me restless until a woman's voice interrupted my thoughts. "Julian, I've given so many suggestions, and you haven't even said thank you." Willow, seeing me lost in my own world, seemed displeased. I slowly walked over to her, staring at her, and almost on a whim asked, "Willow, do you like me?" Willow's eyes shifted abruptly, a swirl of emotions hidden in their depths. Before she could respond, a familiar voice sounded from a distance. "Brother, you're here to try on wedding dresses too? What a coincidence." Makoto entered with Sophia by his side. Sophia, surprised to see me in such a situation, stiffened and instinctively tried to pull her hand away from Makoto's. But Makoto's hand was glued to hers, and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't break free. "Not a coincidence. If I had known you were coming, I would have gone to a different shop," I retorted without hesitation. Just that one sentence made Makoto feel instantly aggrieved. I scoffed. "Makoto, stop pretending. If you're not tired, watching you act is exhausting enough." Earlier, at the Wong house, I used to hold back, considering various factors, but now I didn't need to do that anymore. Makoto's face turned a mixture of red and white as he stared at Sophia. "Sophia, I didn't mean it that way. My brother misunderstood me." In the past, Sophia would have thought I was being aggressive and would scold me. Now she simply glanced at Makoto with indifference. Julian didn't say anything. You're overreacting. Makoto looked at Sophia in disbelief, unable to believe the words coming from her mouth. You came to try on wedding dresses, didn't you? If you're not going to try them on, we'll leave, Sophia said, her attitude toward Makoto drastically changing. Makoto could feel it too, and he dared not press the matter any further. In the fitting room, Makoto blocked my path, his face twisted with fury. Julian, are you so proud of yourself? I raised an eyebrow. Shouldn't it be you who's proud? You stole the credit for saving them and succeeded in marrying Sophia, but it seems Sophia isn't so kind to you now. I wonder how long your lie will keep you safe. At the first wife selection banquet, you used a video of yourself being humiliated to gain sympathy. The second wife selection banquet, I didn't want either of them, so I let you have them. I didn't want a fool who couldn't even tell who saved his life. Makoto's blood froze, and his lips trembled. You know. I lifted my eyelids slightly, sneering. Not everyone is as foolish as those two. With a scoff, I turned and walked out. Makoto slumped onto the ground, thinking he had hidden everything perfectly, but it seemed I had always known. When I walked out, I didn't see Willow. Instead, I saw Sophia. I turned to leave, but Sophia chased after me and grabbed my wrist. Sophia's expression was complicated. She couldn't figure out what she was feeling. Logically, she should like Makoto, but these past few days she kept thinking about all the memories she shared with Julian. I used to love chasing after Sophia, always wanting to be with her, but now seeing her, I only felt disgust. Let go, I said coldly. Sophia gripped me tighter, her expression conflicted. Julian, stop it. Come back. If you really don't want to marry Maria, then don't marry her. Sophia had figured it out. The reason Julian didn't want to marry Maria was because he still liked her. Sophia, who I marry is none of your business. Sophia looked hurt, shocked as she stared at me, her voice hoarse. Julian, you. Before Sophia could finish her words, Willow stormed in from outside, raised her hand, and slapped the woman. Willow's slap was full of strength, releasing all the pent-up resentment she had accumulated over the years. Sophia collapsed to the ground, but I didn't care about her. Instead, I went to Willow's side, concerned. Are you all right? Although it was Sophia who got slapped, my focus was entirely on Willow. I'm fine. I just went out to handle something. Didn't expect that such a person would take advantage of the opportunity. I carefully checked Willow's hand, worried that she might have been hurt. This scene was especially painful for Sophia to watch. The treatment I had once given her was now being given to Willow. If Sophia had thought Julian was just trying to provoke her before, now she truly saw the reality. She had always thought that no matter what she did, Julian would always be waiting for her. Now she realized how wrong she was, completely wrong. Willow held my hand and looked down at Sophia from above. Julian is now my husband. If you dare to harass him again, whether it's you or the Kim family, I won't spare you. Willow's words carried absolute authority, her tone leaving no room for doubt. With that, we left the bridal shop. Just as we stepped outside, we bumped into a hurried Maria. Upon seeing me again, Maria's face turned pale. Uncle Julian. I ignored her, giving her a brief glance before walking away with Willow. As we passed by, I could clearly see the disappointment on Maria's face. Before, even though I didn't have romantic feelings for her, I at least greeted her with a smile, but now, Maria entered the shop and saw Sophia slumped, smoking, her eyes red. Sophia, you really do like Julian, don't you? Sophia didn't answer, nor did she dare to. Did she like Julian? Maybe, but Julian no longer liked her. She had driven away the person who loved her and could never get him back. Makoto hasn't come out yet. You should go be with him. Sophia turned and left. Willow drove me back home. As soon as we entered the house, she pushed me against the wall. Stay away from Sophia from now on. When I'm not around, keep at least 10 meters away from her. Seeing Willow's jealous expression, I smiled and deliberately asked, Willow, do you like me? I had asked this question earlier at the bridal shop, but Sophia had arrived before I could hear the answer. Now I was pressing her for it. Suddenly I reached out and lifted Willow by the waist. With no support, she instinctively clung to me. The scent of a man enveloped her, and for some reason, it made her feel inexplicably safe. You idiot, I've liked you for so many years, can't you tell? Willow's words made my pupils contract in shock. You've liked me for many years? Seeing the disbelief and doubt on my face, Willow's expression darkened. Did you not notice? I feigned innocence and asked, how would I have noticed? Willow glared at me in frustration, then dragged me all the way back to the bedroom. Once inside, Willow used her foot to close the door and lock it. My heart skipped a beat. The next second, I was pushed onto the bed. Though it didn't hurt, the feeling of losing balance made my head spin. Before I could react, Willow leaned down and kissed me. Willow's kiss was a bit vengeful. She kissed me so roughly that my lips bled. I don't know how long it lasted, but eventually Willow pulled away, looking like she wasn't even enjoying it. In my memory, Willow was always ruthless, a person with a sharp edge, but she always gave off an air of being indifferent to everything. But now, from just a few moments ago to now, she seemed anything but indifferent. Willow, you. My mind was all over the place, and Sophia's strange words kept echoing in my head. All the events piled together, and the more I thought about it, the worse I felt. Noticing my discomfort, Willow let go of me. What's wrong? If you think it's unfair, kiss me back. Her words made me feel both amused and helpless. Willow, you're still as annoying as when we were kids. Willow huffed, retorting, you're still as unlikable as when we were kids. Willow had a talent for making people want to pull their hair out. I gritted my teeth in frustration and said, and you have the nerve to bring up the past. When I almost drowned, you were right there and didn't even look at me. Sophia was the one who saved me, and you're calling me dramatic? Willow, with that mouth of yours, it's no wonder no one likes you. The two of us had always been at odds since childhood. Even if we were married, we didn't stop bickering. Willow frowned, unusually explaining, I did not save you. I just wanted you to learn how to save yourself. You were in the Wong family, and you didn't even know what kind of situation you were in. Learning to swim would have at least kept you from being set up and drowning. If it weren't for Sophia, you would have drowned right there. She could save you once, but could she save you twice? Julian, only when you become strong can you truly be strong and stop being bullied. Willow's face showed rare seriousness. I stared at her blankly, my lips parting and closing in confusion. So you didn't save me back then just so I could learn self-reliance? Willow's expression darkened. What else? So all these years, you thought I was letting you die, ah. Back then, you didn't explain anything to me, and we were always at odds. Of course I misunderstood. Willow let out a bitter laugh. In the military, all the kids were trained like that. How come it became me not saving you in your case? I lowered my head in guilt, my tone softer. I'm not one of those kids from your military district. We're not the same. So you liked me all along? Why didn't you say anything? And why were you always against me? I was genuinely confused, but Willow and I always fought when we met. I never saw it as something related to affection. Willow, with her usual pride, scoffed. Back then, your eyes were always on Sophia. You couldn't spare attention for anyone else. As long as it got your attention, any method was fine. I felt like kneeling in front of Willow. Now I understood why Willow had never married all these years. It turns out, my method wasn't wrong. Now you're marrying me, aren't you? I was speechless. I stared at Willow seriously and said, that's not how you chase someone. Doing it the way you have will only backfire. Loving someone can be about expressing your feelings directly, or it can be about quietly guarding them, but it should never be about constantly opposing them. Willow, you don't understand love. But it's okay. We have many years ahead of us. I can teach you. With that, I pulled Willow into my arms and gently kissed her forehead. Before, it had always been Willow taking the lead, but this time it was me. She smiled faintly and deepened the kiss. At 1 a.m., Kim family residence. So the person who saved us back then was really Julian? Sophia clutched the documents Maria had found, her grip tight. Maria's expression mirrored Sophia's, grim and troubled. The time is too long ago, and the surveillance footage is no longer available, but I found witnesses from that time, and their descriptions matched Julian. Suddenly, Sophia's eyes welled up with tears and she scoffed. The person who saved us was Julian, but all these years we heard him again and again for that bastard. I'm such a fool. Sophia raised her hand and slapped herself hard, about to do it again when Maria stopped her. Self-blame won't help now. We should think about how to make things right. I can see it clearly. Julian really doesn't like us anymore. Do we still have a chance to win him back? And your wedding to Makoto is set for the end of this month. The Kim family invitations have already been sent out. Do you think the Kim family will allow you to call off the wedding? Every word Maria spoke felt like a sharp knife stabbing at Sophia's heart. Not fatal, but painful enough to kill her. Sophia's gaze deepened, her voice tinged with a hint of obsession. Since it started wrong, it should end right. Julian can only be mine. Recently, the biggest news in City A was the weddings of the Liu and Kim families. Coincidentally, both weddings were on the same day and in the same hotel, Wang Family Villa. Makoto was uneasy when he saw that his wedding and Julian's were on the same day. May is not a good date. Let's move it forward a bit. Pablo, who had always given Makoto whatever he wanted, suddenly lashed out at him. What's wrong with it? You should be happy you're marrying Sophia. What else do you want? Do you know that Sophia doesn't actually want to marry you? If I hadn't used the Kim family's business deals as leverage, who knows who her groom would have been? You should be grateful you even got chosen. Makoto's face turned red from the scolding, his voice trembling as he muttered, Dad, it's all Julian's fault. He must be behind all of this. Before, Pablo would have blamed Julian a little, but now he only scolded. Enough. If you're so useless, don't blame others. Bottom line, no matter what method you use, you must keep Sophia. If you get abandoned by her, don't come crying to me, because I won't recognize you as my son. The alliance with the Kim family was crucial for Pablo. With their help, he could still fight Willow, but without the Kim family's support, the Wong Corporation would lose its place entirely. The more Pablo looked at Makoto, the angrier he got. How could his two sons be so different? After Pablo left, Makoto, in a fit of rage, smashed everything in the living room. The servants, seeing this, retreated a few steps, too afraid to step forward. Makoto, with a twisted face, screamed, Julian, why are you always haunting me? Why do you have to fight me at every turn? The day before the wedding, Willow had arranged everything for the wedding, and I didn't have to worry about a thing. At the Liu family, not only did Willow treat me exceptionally well, but even the people in her family showed me great respect. No matter what happened, big or small, they always asked for my opinion first. With Willow, I felt completely valued. Tomorrow, Sophia and Makoto are also getting married, just next door. If you don't like it, I'll buy the whole hotel and make sure they're kicked out. I couldn't help but chuckle. Although your family is in business, money isn't meant to be wasted like that. They can have their wedding, and we'll have ours. We don't need to bother with them. Willow raised an eyebrow. You really don't care at all? I stared at her, narrowing my eyes slightly. Willow, we're getting married tomorrow. Are you still worried that there's another woman in my heart? Do you not trust yourself, or do you think I am the type of man who can't settle down? Usually so decisive, Willow suddenly seemed so vulnerable. Her eyes revealed a rare sincerity. I'm afraid this is all just a dream, Julian. If I had never had you, I could control myself, but now that I've had you, I can't let you go. Seeing Willow so insecure, I smiled. Unless you cheat, I won't leave you. In the Wong family, there's only widowhood, no divorce. In the afternoon, I was called back to the Wong family. Since I had already registered my marriage with Willow, legally, I was now entitled to the company shares. However, these past few days had been so busy, and with my father stubbornly resisting, the process was delayed. At noon, my father called and told me to come sign the contract and complete the handover. Willow had planned to accompany me, but my father specifically asked not to see her, so I went alone. Considering the fierce methods my father had used against Willow these past few days, I understood why he didn't want her there. Wong Family Villa. Pablo was sitting with a lawyer, and 2 copies of the agreement were on the table. I walked in and went straight to the point. We don't need to catch up. Let's just sign the contract. Pablo's face darkened with discomfort as he frowned. Julian, we're father and son. Why make it so ugly? Father and son? Did you ever treat me like your son? Makoto is more like your son than I am. You. Forget it. It was you who said it yourself. Makoto's last name is Ito, and mine is Wong. I sneered. His face darkened instantly, and he suppressed his anger, trying to reason with me. Julian, you're still young and don't understand many things. Who is Willow? Do you think she truly loves you? She only wants to use you. Once Wong Corporation is in your hands, it will become your joint marital property, and you won't be able to outplay her. I know there have been misunderstandings between us, but father and son don't hold grudges forever. Everything I have will eventually be yours. Why are you in such a hurry? Pablo's speech only amused me, and I mockingly stared at him. Pablo, I once thought you were a bad husband and father, but now I see you're even more shameless than I imagined. The Wong Corporation has the Wong surname. The only reason it's been under your control these years is because I wasn't married. How did it become yours? And don't forget what you promised when you married Mom. No matter what, even if Mom passed first, you would never remarry. But what did you do? In the second month after Mom passed, you were already eager to elevate your mistress and call her your wife, all while pretending it was to look after me. Talking about the past made me feel disgusted. Don't forget who the real owner of this place is. If it weren't for the faint blood ties, I wouldn't even let you live in this villa. Pablo's face turned dark as ink, but he couldn't do anything. He had no choice but to swallow his anger. Julian, I'm waiting for the day you regret and come begging me. I rolled my eyes. Go dream. Everything is possible in a dream. I didn't bother with him anymore. I signed the contract and picked up my copy, preparing to leave. But as I turned, I ran into Sophia and Maria. Julian. Both of them spoke in unison. It had only been a few days, but Sophia and Maria both looked considerably thinner. Sophia especially had deep dark circles under her eyes, and it was clear she hadn't been resting well. I didn't respond. I walked past them, preparing to leave, but both Sophia and Maria each grabbed one of my arms. Julian, don't go, can we talk? Sophia spoke to me for the first time in such a humble way. A month ago, I would have felt a pang of sympathy, but now I felt nothing at all. I have nothing to talk to you about. If you keep blocking me, my wife won't be happy. I deliberately brought up Willow, but their expressions changed immediately. Sophia's voice grew low. Julian, don't talk about her. I don't want to hear it. Julian, we've been childhood friends. Even if you don't marry Sophia, you shouldn't marry Willow, Maria chimed in, accusing me. Willow is 1,000 times, no, 1,000,000 times, better than you two. If I don't marry her, should I marry you too? Maria, weren't you the most generous one? You were willing to let the person you liked go to Sophia. Now you're acting all sentimental? Sophia, how many times have you hurt me? You still have the nerve to stand in front of me? You're getting married to Makoto tomorrow, and now you're trying to pull me back in. Aren't you afraid he'll see? Spending so much time with Willow had really sharpened my tongue. Inside the villa, Pablo and the servants had already left, locking the door from the outside. I could tell this was a trap, but I wasn't afraid. As long as I didn't come back on time, Willow would personally come to get me. The words I spoke were sharp, and they pierced straight through Sophia's heart, leaving it vulnerable and bleeding. Julian, I'm sorry. I mistook the person who saved me. I thought it was Makoto, which is why I did so many wrong things. But all of this can be fixed. Maria, standing beside her, also apologized. Julian, it was my fault for not recognizing people properly. I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough. What do you need the police for? We're not kids anymore. You can't just say sorry and expect everything to be fine. There was no trace of emotion on my face, just a growing annoyance. Are you done? Because I'm leaving now. I wrenched my arms free from their grip and tried to open the door, but it was locked from the outside. My eyes darkened. So you're trying to trap me? Sophia turned around, her gaze probing. Julian, did you already know Makoto lied to us? My calm response just now made Sophia question everything. Seeing that I couldn't leave, I turned and sat back down on the couch, glancing at her indifferently. Yes. Both women's faces showed disbelief and anger. If you knew, why didn't you tell us back then? Sophia's fists were clenched tight. Maria didn't speak, but her questioning eyes said everything. You can't even recognize the person who saved your life. That's your problem, your own stupidity. And you both trusted Makoto so much. Even if I told you the truth, would you believe it? I chuckled lightly. Maybe you'd even turn things around and say I stole his credit. Their footsteps grew heavy, and their nails dug deeply into their palms. The taste of blood filled the air. Yes, it was their own fault for being deceived by Makoto. Spinning in circles, they had no right to ask for forgiveness. I didn't feel a sense of revenge when I saw their pain. I felt nothing at all. Perhaps I really had let go, so whether or not they knew the truth no longer mattered to me. I glanced at the time. I didn't want to waste any more time here. Standing up, I said coldly, if you two are here to apologize, I've heard it, but I don't forgive you. Willow will be worried if I don't go back this late. If you don't want her to retaliate, you'd better get me home quickly. Even in this moment, I wasn't the slightest bit afraid. Sophia had imagined many scenarios, but this one was something she hadn't considered. It was the one she couldn't accept. She became a bit obsessive, quickly walking up to me and grabbing my arm with a tight grip. Julian, there's still a way back. Tomorrow, the groom's spot is yours. We'll still fulfill our childhood promise and get married. Please, will you? I've done many foolish things in the past, but I can change. We're still young, and everything is still possible. I tried to shake off the woman's hand, but Sophia was determined not to let go, so I didn't force it. I raised my other hand and slapped Sophia hard across the face. A clear palm print appeared on her face, and I said emotionlessly, "Are you calm now? Sophia, you're not a child anymore. As an adult, you should take responsibility for your actions. If you've done something wrong, you should own up to it. The way you're clinging on like this just makes me feel utterly disgusted." In the past, I wouldn't have been able to say anything harsh to Sophia. Now I was deliberately choosing to say words that would hurt her the most. Sophia's grip grew weaker. I pushed her away without hesitation, and just as I was about to leave, Maria blocked my path again. "Julian, if Sophia is no good, what about me?" Maria rarely acted this proactively, and for her to say something like this was already a big step for her. But I didn't hold back, replying, "Maria, I've never seen you as a woman. In my eyes, I've always treated you like my sister. Although you don't talk much, you always quietly do everything right. You're perfect, except for one thing, you're blind." Maria's back visibly bent, and her clenched fists slowly tightened. I took a few steps forward, facing away from them. "Sophia, tomorrow's your wedding with Makoto. Isn't this what you've always wanted? I wish you both a lifetime of happiness, growing old together. Maria, I also wish that you, as the flower guardian, can protect their love for a lifetime." It sounded like the most sincere blessing, but to them, it felt particularly sharp. This was the price of choosing the wrong person, failing to see clearly. I was about to walk out when Willow suddenly came in, bursting through the door. She looked up and locked eyes with me. "Are you hurt?" Willow inspected me, worried that I might have been wronged. I smiled and shook my head. "You came at just the right time. I'm fine, let's go." I reached for Willow's hand to leave, but she hesitated and said, "You go wait outside for me. I need to talk to them for a moment." Though Willow didn't say it directly, I could pretty much guess what was going on. I stepped outside and waited for about 10 minutes. When Willow came out, her previously gloomy face instantly softened when she saw me. "It's all done. Let's go." Willow's white dress had some bloodstains on it. There had been quite a commotion inside, and I knew it was Willow teaching them a lesson. People in City A often said Willow was a lady of high status, elegant and polite, but only I knew how wild this girl was behind closed doors. Fighting was something she didn't shy away from. I took her hand, our fingers tightly interlaced. I lowered my gaze to her hand, which was reddened, and asked, "Does it hurt?" Inside, Sophia and Maria had just come out, both looking a little worse for wear, especially Sophia, whose face looked like a pig's head, but I didn't even spare them a glance. Willow caught sight of them out of the corner of her eye and purposely said, "It hurts. Can you blow on it for me?" I had long seen through the woman's thoughts. I sighed helplessly in my heart, gently holding her hand and blowing on it. This scene stabbed Sophia's eyes. Even though Willow's actions inside had been harsh, it was nothing compared to the pain she felt at this moment. "Julian, do you really think Willow is such a good person? I've investigated her. She's been secretly learning everything about you for years. She's like a rat in the sewer, always spying on you. Are you not afraid to marry someone like her?" Sophia shouted desperately, holding back tears, but the corners of her eyes were reddened beyond recognition. Willow's body stiffened noticeably, and I stared at her for several seconds. Is what she said true? Willow was bold and took responsibility for her actions. Yes. Sophia seized the opportunity and pressed on. "Julian, people like Willow use everyone. She can't have genuine feelings for you. Trust me, come back to me and be good." Maria interjected, "Julian, even if you think we're not a good match, Willow is even worse. Willow is full of schemes, and everyone in our circle knows it. It's not too late for you to regret it. Even if it means offending the Liu family, Sophia and I will help you. Late-coming affection is worthless." This was exactly what Sophia and Maria were doing. I had once surrounded them every day, but they had ignored me. Now that I had made up my mind to sever ties with them, they began chasing me relentlessly. Willow, with her high status, had never been humiliated like this, but she remained silent, simply looking at me. She was waiting for me to make a decision. I looked up, staring at her seriously, and spoke slowly. Willow, you've liked me for so many years. Now it's time for me to make it up to you. From now on, I will like you, so you won't be so tired anymore. The three women present were stunned, especially Willow. When Maria had compared her to a rat in the gutter, Willow had visibly trembled. For the first time in her life, she felt scared. She was afraid that I might reject her, that I might not want her. When I said I would make it up to her, Willow's eyes reddened uncontrollably. Okay, but I'll take 99 steps toward you, and you only need to take one step toward me. I took her hand and looked up, smiling. Then let's go home. Hand in hand, we walked away in front of Sophia and the others, watching us grow farther and farther away until we completely disappeared. Sophia could no longer hold herself together and collapsed to the ground. Julian, have I finally lost you? Her words echoed in the air, and the only response she received was silence. At 1 a.m., Sophia had drunk 3 full boxes of alcohol at Kim's place. Though she was completely drunk, she insisted on drinking more. Makoto had called her dozens of times, but when she didn't answer, he went straight to Kim's house. Seeing the bottles scattered all over the floor, he was furious. Over the floor, Makoto was on the brink of losing it. Sophia, tomorrow is our wedding day, and you're drinking so much alcohol on the eve of our wedding. Do you even want to marry me? Makoto thought that Sophia was still the same as before, easy to control, so he exploded with anger. Sophia barely lifted her eyelids and gave him a cold glance. Marry you? You think you're worthy? With that one sentence, Makoto's anger flared up, and he snatched the bottle from Sophia's hand, throwing it heavily on the ground. The glass shattered everywhere. Sophia, what the hell is wrong with you? You're 26 now. Can you be a little more mature? Suddenly, Sophia's eyes turned dark and terrifying. She sprang to her feet and grabbed the man by the neck, acting crazy. Do you want to see this crazy woman kill someone? Sophia's gaze was chilling, and her voice was icy as she spoke. Makoto was so frightened that his legs went weak, his voice trembling. WWHY, Sophia? I'm your most beloved Makoto. You promised you would protect me for a lifetime, you. Sophia forcefully threw him off, yelling with all her might. I loved the wrong person. I never loved you. It was you who stole Julian's credit for saving me. The one I should have loved all along is him. You're nothing but an imposter. Makoto crashed hard to the floor, his knees and elbows digging into the glass shards, the pain causing tears to well up in his eyes. He looked at Sophia with a mix of fear. You? How did you know? Sophia moved forward and grabbed his collar, her eyes filled with fury as if she were about to strangle him. I not only know that you lied to me, but you also lied to Maria. Makoto, you're the one who made me lose Julian, and I won't let you off the hook. No one is going to have it easy. Makoto began to regret coming here. He shouldn't have. He struggled to get up, trying to flee, but Sophia grabbed him by the hair from behind, yanked it hard, then let go. Makoto fell back, crashing to the ground, countless glass shards piercing his back, the pain causing tears to stream down his face. You should be punished for what you've done. Ruining someone's relationship, you should pay with your life. Sophia grabbed the man by the hair and dragged him to the backyard. His screams echoed in the air, loud enough to wake the sleeping servants, but they didn't dare intervene. It wasn't clear how long had passed, but Makoto's body was covered in bruises, and his face was badly scratched. Sophia had blood splattered on her, and she frowned in disgust. Dirty. Makoto curled up on the floor. Even breathing felt painful. Sophia tossed the stick and glass shards onto the ground, giving them a disgusted glance. Makoto picked up the glass shards, looking at his distorted reflection, and screamed in despair. His screams echoed throughout the villa. Sophia, if you treat me like this, my father will never forgive you. Sophia let out a cold laugh. He can't even take care of himself, so how would he care about you? The burden? Don't think I'm just torturing you for some interest. Even if I killed you today, Pablo wouldn't dare say a word. Makoto's tears mixed with the blood, and he cried hopelessly. He knew that what Sophia said was true. When Julian was around, Makoto was like a mirror. The more unruly Julian became, the more obedient he pretended to be, and Pablo treated him better. But now that Julian had fallen out with Pablo, if Makoto was no longer useful, he would be discarded. The life of a discarded pawn wasn't important. Realizing that his life was ruined, Makoto had no more fear left. Sophia, what kind of person are you? How many times have you hurt Julian over the years? Do you think that by torturing me like this, he will forgive you? Sophia's face stiffened. She indeed had this thought. She wanted Julian to see her determination to change. But Makoto's next words made her feel as if she had fallen into an icy pit. If I were Julian, seeing you tormenting someone you once loved like this, I'd only feel fear, dread, and the urge to distance myself. And I'd use that to warn myself to stay far, far away from you. Sophia's emotions broke, her eyes wide with rage. Enough. Shut up. Makoto, with his grotesque face, smiled. Don't want to hear it? I'll keep talking. If I were Julian, I'd choose Willow. Willow is the young lady of a city. Everyone gives her respect. What are you, Sophia? Without the Kim family, you're nothing. Enough. Shut your mouth. Sophia couldn't hold back, lifting her leg and kicking Makoto. Makoto's head slammed into the nearby wall, blood gushing out. Just then, Kim's father and mother returned home and saw the scene. Kim's mother, worried that someone might be seriously hurt, quickly instructed the servants to send Makoto to the hospital for emergency treatment. In the living room, Kim's father grabbed an ashtray and threw it at Sophia. Sophia, what exactly do you want? Do you want the Kim family to completely collapse before you're satisfied? Sophia's brow glinted coldly as she smiled darkly. If you lose your daughter, who will inherit the Kim family? The older couple was stunned by Sophia's words. Kim's mother, being a loving parent, cried and said, Sophia, you don't want to marry Makoto, right? Your mother agrees. We won't force it, but don't say such things. Your father and I are old. We can't bear it. The wedding tomorrow is canceled. As long as you're okay, that's all that matters. Sophia's eyes glinted coldly. The wedding won't be canceled. It will proceed as planned. Kim's father, holding back his anger, said, Proceed as planned? Without a groom, how do you expect to have a wedding? There will be a groom. You only need to proceed with the wedding. The rest isn't for you to worry about. The older couple didn't understand what Sophia was planning. She simply said, If you still want a daughter, then do as I say. The next day, the wedding proceeded as planned. Although the wedding was hosted by both families, Willow's side was clearly on a much higher scale and level. The Kim family had mostly invited nobles and prominent families, while the Liu family's guest list included not only elites, but also many influential people who had a say in high circles. The Liu family, with Willow being their only daughter, naturally pampered her. Even though it wasn't customary for them to hold such a grand wedding, Willow insisted that this would be her only marriage in her lifetime, and she didn't want the other party to feel wronged. During the wedding march, the audience below began whispering. I heard Julian was in love with Kim family's Sophia, but she didn't like him. Not sure what kind of methods he used to win over Willow, this young lady. Tisk, Julian is a city's well-known heartthrob. It's no surprise Willow got charmed by him too. I don't think so. In the end, it's because Julian has the backing of the Wong family. That's a top-tier family. Even Willow's maternal family can't compare. A man in the crowd sneered. Julian is really embarrassing us men. To get himself out there, he's willing to give up his family fortune. I've never seen such a shameless guy. Whispers below were getting louder, but Willow shot them a cold glance. Everyone instantly fell silent, not daring to offend this young lady. As the wedding march continued, grand doors of the banquet hall slowly opened. I stood in a pure white suit, smiling, standing against the light, walking step by step toward Willow. Doesn't Julian have a father? Isn't it strange that his dad isn't here for his wedding? You don't know? He has a half-brother who isn't favored at home. I heard his brother is getting married next door today, so his dad is definitely with him. The gossip was loud, and many people cast strange glances toward me. Willow, holding a bouquet, walked swiftly to my side and in front of everyone said, I'll walk with you. With those words, we walked together to the front of the stage. The people who had been gossiping just moments ago fell silent, too afraid to say another word. The host smiled and said, It seems Miss Willow really loves Mr. Wong. not even allowing him to walk a few steps alone. At this moment, I'd like to. The host was about to say something more, but Willow stopped him. Wait a minute. Everyone, including myself, was puzzled about what Willow wanted to do. Willow's personal lawyer came up to the stage, holding a stack of contracts. Mr. Wong, before you exchange vows, I think it's necessary to discuss the division of assets between the two of you. Instantly, the audience burst into murmurs, clearly anticipating a scandal. Even I hadn't expected Willow to bring out her lawyer at this moment. Although giving up the Wong Group was something I had promised before, doing so in such a public setting made my expression change subtly. I knew it. There's no way someone like Willow would actually fall for Julian. Marrying one man, gaining the Wong Group. Not a bad deal. The mocking voices from the crowd made me feel extremely embarrassed. The Wong family, once the top-tier family in a city, had turned into a massive joke in my hands. But the lawyer's next words slapped everyone in the face. Mr. Wong, I am Miss Willow's attorney. On the day you two got your marriage license, Miss Willow transferred all of her assets into your name, including the inheritance she received from her mother. But since you didn't know about this, I'd like to take this opportunity to inform everyone here that all of Miss Willow's assets and companies now belong to Mr. Julian. In an instant, I looked at Willow in disbelief, my eyes turning red. When did you do all of this? Why didn't you ever tell me? And wasn't our agreement supposed to be? Before I could finish, Willow spoke up. Now all my wealth belongs to you. From now on, you'll have to take care of me. A wave of murmurs rippled through the crowd. To think that the young lady of a city's top family, Willow, would give everything she had to someone else. Who wouldn't find that romantic? I blinked back tears, slowly stepping forward and gently placing a kiss on her forehead. Willow, thank you. Willow raised an eyebrow. Mr. Wong, I've given you all my wealth, so now you have to take care of me. I gazed at her. We shared a smile. The host then asked, Miss Liu, do you take Mr. Julian as your husband, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health? I do. The host then turned to me. Mr. Wong, do you take Miss Willow as your wife, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health? Before I could finish my sentence, the doors of the banquet hall were thrown open, and Sophia and Maria stood at the entrance. Sophia, dressed in a wedding gown, holding a bouquet in one hand, her loud voice echoed throughout the hall. He doesn't want to. The crowd turned to look in the direction of the voice. Sophia stepped, by step, down the stairs, gazing at me with deep emotion. I never thought Sophia would go this crazy. Willow tightly gripped my hand. Don't be afraid. I'll handle this. Sophia, if you came to the wedding to attend, I, Willow, welcome you with open arms. But if you have other intentions, don't blame me for being harsh. The crowd murmured their admiration for Sophia's boldness, daring to compete with a city's top lady for a man. Sophia ignored Willow and kept walking toward the stage. Maria, although following Sophia, had some sense of caution. Sophia, once you go up there, you're dragging the Kim family down with you. Sophia gave a cold laugh and continued walking up. Kim's parents also rushed over from the neighboring hall, along with many guests from the other side. Kim's father had imagined many scenarios for Sophia to go mad, but this was the last thing he expected. If I had known she was going to do this today, I should have just killed her last night. Kim's father stomped his foot in frustration. Sophia paid no attention to the stares and gossip as she approached me step by step. Julian, I've avenged all the wrongs you've suffered. Makoto has received his just punishment, and he'll never be a nuisance to you again. And your biased father, the Kim Group has pulled out its investment, and from now on, you can do whatever you want. He can't hold you back anymore. Julian, all the people who've hurt you and hindered your path, I've cleared them out for you. Now can you? I couldn't stand listening to what Sophia was saying. I snapped, Enough, Sophia. At this point, do you still think all the problems are caused by others? You mentioned Makoto and Pablo, but the one who hurt me the most has always been you. Sophia, we're all adults. Isn't it better to let the past stay in the past? Why do we have to keep holding on to these things? You live your life, I live mine. We could be parallel lines, never crossing again. Why do you insist on making things awkward for everyone? Sophia paused for a few seconds before nodding. You're right. In the end, it's because of me. Because I was blind and mistook my savior. Because I was blind in my heart and I helped Makoto hurt you over and over. So this time, I'll make it up to you. Before I could react, Sophia dropped to one knee. I furrowed my brow. What are you doing? I gave you 30 lashes last time, and this time, I'll give them all back to you. In the next moment, Maria climbed onto the stage, holding a stick. I frowned deeply, my voice cold as ice. Maria, Sophia's gone crazy. Are you crazy too? Maria tightened her grip on the stick, taking a deep breath. Julian, this is what she owes you. It must be paid back. Sophia looked at me, a smile tugging at her lips. Julian, you're so worried about me. You must still like me, right? I realized that Sophia had already confined herself to her own world and wasn't listening to anyone. When she saw the unfamiliar look in my eyes, her heart sank. She turned to Maria and said, "Hit me. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 13 strikes." Maria didn't hold back, each strike filled with force. Soon, Sophia's back was bleeding. Kim's mother, watching from below, couldn't stop crying. She wanted to intervene, but was stopped by Kim's father. "Don't interfere, let her deal with it herself." On stage, Willow and I kept holding hands tightly. "Don't look, it's too bloody," I said, covering Willow's eyes. I didn't stop them because I truly felt that Sophia needed to atone. It took a full 60 strikes before Maria stopped. Sophia could no longer hold herself up and nearly collapsed, but fortunately, Maria was there to steady her. "Julian, can you forgive me this time?" The crowd below thought Sophia had completely lost it, making such a scene just to get my forgiveness. Looking at Sophia now, I felt like she was becoming more and more of a stranger. "Sophia, if you're hoping to earn my forgiveness, it's not going to happen. But as you said, you've paid your debt to me, so from now on, we have no relationship. Today is my happiest day, and I don't want any disturbances from unrelated people during my wedding with my wife. Sophia, Maria, I don't want to recall the past, nor do I want to argue who's right or wrong. I ask that you both never come near me again." Each of my words was a deliberate effort to sever ties with them and make it clear to everyone that I had no further relationship with Sophia and Maria. Maria had already guessed this outcome. She knew Julian, his stubborn personality, all the grievances he had suffered over the years, and how impossible it would be for him to forgive easily. This was the best choice. "Julian, I'm sorry." Maria bowed to me. Finally, Maria took Sophia's arm and said, "Let's go." But Sophia, from somewhere, pulled out a small knife. Willow instinctively pushed me behind her. "Be careful." The bodyguards hiding in the shadows immediately rushed up, but to everyone's surprise, Sophia didn't harm me. Instead, she drove the knife into her own chest with a brutal force. Her already pale face turned even weaker. "Julian, if I truly mean nothing to you, then don't save me. Let me die? If you save me, it means you're telling everyone that you still care about me." Sophia's words placed me in an impossible position, trapped with no way out. Willow's eyes narrowed as she was about to speak, but suddenly a group of police officers burst into the room. He greeted Willow. "First, miss, we're here to arrest a murderer." The crowd froze, exchanging uneasy glances, fearing that the murderer might be among them. The police officer continued, "Mr. Makoto was sent to the emergency room last night. Unfortunately, he couldn't be saved and passed away an hour ago. Before he died, he confessed that it was Miss Sophia who had tortured and killed him in retaliation. Therefore, we need to take her in for questioning." In the end, Sophia was taken away by the police. Despite the interruption caused by Sophia, the wedding continued without pause. Amid the applause and the host's words, "Mr. Julian, do you take Miss Willow as your wife, to have and to hold, for better or worse, until death do you part?" This time, no one came forward to stop the ceremony. I smiled and said, "I do." 3 months later, Willow found out she was pregnant, and I went to the hospital to pick up her test results. Willow had been protecting me well, and Maria was the only one who took advantage of this opportunity to see me. Since the wedding incident, I had blocked everyone from the Kim and Lee families. "Julian, Mr. Wong." Maria called out from behind me. Just hearing her voice, I knew who it was. I turned to look, and sure enough, it was her. I responded coolly, "Maria, I thought I made myself clear the last time." Maria's face turned ugly. "I know, but Sophia is going to be sentenced tomorrow, and it's most likely the death penalty. Her last wish before she dies is to see you. Could you go see her with me?" My arm trembled slightly, and the pregnancy test slipped from my fingertips. Maria bent down to pick it up, and when she saw the words on the paper, she froze for a moment. Her face was a mix of awkwardness and bitterness. She's pregnant? Congratulations. I replied softly, thank you. But as for Sophia, I won't go to see her. I have a wife now. She's a bit possessive, and she'd be unhappy if she found out. With that, I turned to leave, but Maria suddenly shouted after my back, Julian, we've known each other for over 20 years. Now she's about to die, and you won't even give her one last chance to see you? Do you really have no feelings left for her? I kept walking, my back still to her. Maria, I'm not the one who had her killed. It was when you and your family hurt me repeatedly from Makoto that our bond was completely worn down. No more seeing, no more thinking of each other. Only in this way will the three of us never meet again in the next life. As soon as the words left my mouth, I took another step forward. Once out of Maria's view, a single tear slipped from the corner of my eye. Sophia, Maria, in the next life, let's not be friends. Let's not even know each other again.